Shalom. Welcome back. We are continuing on with our reading of the Rock of a Sure Foundation. We're still going through the Gospel of the Hebrews. We're up to chapter 20. By the way, just kind of as a side note, as I'm reading through this, you've probably noticed I run across some typos or some ways in which the text is kind of worded weird. After I finish the video, I'm going back and fixing those issues and trying to make the text read better and correct the typos and that sort of thing. So I really thought I had the document pretty much proofread, and at this point I'm kind of embarrassed at how bad it still is. So I'm working on correcting these typos, and then once we get through all these videos, through this rereading of the Rock of a Sure Foundation, I'm going to re-upload the corrected document to Amazon, so the typos should be corrected and all that. So if you're considering ordering a book, you might want to wait until I get done with this. And for those of you that bought a book already, I apologize. I'm kind of ashamed at how bad it is. Anyway, so if you see me highlighting some typos, that's just so I have them notated to go back and fix it. And I'm saying that because the way this was worded when I started to record this video says who rose and out early, so went was missing, and it was typo. So fixed it, and just want to notate that as we're starting the recording, that all of these typos are going to be fixed. After this, Yeshua said to his disciples, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a man who was the master of a household, who arose and went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. When he agreed with the laborers for 1 denarius for the whole day, he sent them into his vineyard, and he went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. He said to them, 'You also go into the vineyard, and whatever is just I will give you.' So they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, and did likewise. About the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle. He said to them, 'Why are you standing here idle all day?' And they said to him, 'Because no one has hired us.' And he said to them, 'You go into the vineyard also.' When evening had come, the master of the vineyard said to his overseer, 'Call the laborers and pay them their wages.' He began with the last and finished with the first. Those hired in the 11th hour received 1 denarius, and when those that were hired in the 9th hour came, they each received 1 denarius, and so on. And when the first came, they supposed that they would receive more than the others, but he only gave 1 denarius to each of them. When they received it, they murmured against the master of the vineyard, saying, 'These last have spent 1 hour, and you have made them on a level with us, who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat.' But he answered one of them, 'Friend, I'm doing you no injustice. Didn't you contract with me for 1 denarius? Take it and go. If I wish to give to this last just as much as you, may I not do according to my desire? Or is there evil in your eyes because I'm good?' So the last will be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen." As Yeshua was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside, and on the way he said to them, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered to the chief priests and sages, and they will condemn him to death. And they will hand him over to the Gentiles to smite and destroy him, but on the 3rd day he shall be raised up." Then the mother of the sons of Zabdi came to him with her sons, bowing down before him to ask a certain thing of him. He said to her, "What do you want?" She said to him, "Command that these my 2 sons may sit, one on your right hand and one on your left hand, in your kingdom." But Yeshua answered, "You don't know what you're asking. Are you able to endure the suffering and death that I'm about to endure? Are you able to drink the cup that I'm about to drink, and be baptized with the baptism that I shall be baptized in?" They said to him, "We are able." And he said to them, "You shall indeed drink my cup and be baptized with the baptism I'm baptized in, but to sit on my right hand and on my left hand is not mine to give to you, but is for whom has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard it, they were angry with the 2 brothers. But Yeshua summoned them and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles rule over them, and their great ones seek to subdue them and exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you shall serve you, and whoever desires to be first among you shall be your bondservant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Seek to grow to be less, and you will grow to be more, while great ones, who make no such effort, will be brought low. And when you go in and have been called upon to dine, do not recline in the most prominent places, lest one more honorable than you shall come, and the one who called the dinner should come to you and say, your spot is lower, and you should be ashamed. So see, there's another one. But if you sit down at the lesser place, and one lesser than you shall come, the one who called the dinner will say to you, go still higher, and this will be more profitable for you. Thus seek to increase from that which is small, and from the greater to become less. As they went into Jericho, a great multitude followed him. Behold, 2 blind men went out and sat by the road. And when they heard that the prophet Yeshua was passing by, they cried out, saying, Master, have mercy on us, O Son of David. The multitude rebuked them, saying that they should be quiet. But they cried out even more, saying, Master, have mercy on us, O Son of David. Yeshua stopped and stood still and called them and asked, What do you want me to do for you? They told him, Master, that our eyes might be restored to sight. And Yeshua, having pity on them, touched their eyes, and he said to them, Your belief has healed you. And immediately they received their sight, praised God, and followed him. Then all the people praised God because of this. And having entered, he was passing through Jericho. And there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was a tax collector, and he was rich. And he was trying to see who Yeshua was, and couldn't because of the crowd, because he was short. And having run on ahead, he climbed up on a sycamore tree to see him, for he was about to pass that way. And when Yeshua came to the place, he looked up and saw him, and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for today I must stay at your place. And having hurried, he came down, and he received him rejoicing. And having seen it, they all murmured, saying, He has gone to lodge with a man who is a sinner. Having stood then, Zacchaeus said to the master, Behold, master, half of my goods I give to the poor. If I have wrongfully exacted anything of anyone, I restore 4 times as much. Yeshua said to him, Today salvation has come to this house, because he is also a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save that which was lost. And hearing Yeshua's words, a certain rich man who was reclining at the table said unto him, Master, what good thing can I do and live? And he said to him, O man, do that which is in the law and the prophets. And he answered him, I have kept them. And he said to him, Then go sell all that you own and distribute it to the poor, and come follow me. But the rich man began to scratch his head, and it pleased him not. And the master said to him, How do you say, I have performed the law and the prophets? Seeing that it is written in the law, You shall love your neighbor as yourself. But many of your brothers, sons of Abraham, are clad with filth, dying for hunger, and your house is full of many good things, yet nothing at all goes out of it to them. And he turned to Simon, his disciple, who was sitting with him. Simon, son of John, most certainly I say to you, it is easier for a rope to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. When they came near Jerusalem and came to Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, then Yeshua sent 2 disciples, saying to them, Go into the enclosure that is opposite from you, and immediately you will find a jenny tied and a foal by her side. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, you shall say, The Master needs them, and he will immediately let them go. All this was done that it might be fulfilled which was spoken through the prophet, saying, Rejoice greatly, daughter of Zion. Behold, your king comes to you. He is righteous and having salvation, humble and riding on a donkey, even on a colt, the foal of a donkey. The disciples went and did just as Yeshua commanded them, and brought the donkey and the colt, and laid their clothes on them, and they mounted him on the foal. Then they made the ascent. A very great multitude spread their clothes on the road. Others cut down leafy branches from the trees and spread them in the way before him, and behind him, carpeting the way. The multitude kept shouting, Hosanna, Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. Osiyama Barama. Please save us, Savior of the poor. When he had come to Jerusalem, the city was stirring up, saying, Who is this? The multitude said, This is the prophet, Yeshua from Nazareth. Yeshua entered into the house of Yahweh and drove out all those who sold oxen and sheep in the temple, and overthrew the money changers' tables and the seats of those who sold the doves. For a certain fiery and scary light shone from his eyes, which terrified them and put them to flight. He said to them, It is written, My house shall be called a house of prayer for all people, but you have made it a den of the violent. I came to abolish sacrifices, and if you do not cease from sacrificing, wrath will not cease from you. And from that time he would not allow anyone to carry anything into the temple. And he was teaching daily in the temple, and the chief priests and the scribes and the principal men of the people were seeking to destroy him, but they did not find anything they could do, for all the people were hanging on his words. The lame and the blind came to him in the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and the sages came to see the wonderful things that he did, and the children who were crying in the temple, saying, Let the Son of God be praised, Hosanna, son of David, they were indignant, and said to him, Do you hear what these are saying? Yeshua said to them, Yes, I hear them. Did you never read, Out of the mouth of children and nursing babes you have established strength? He left them and went out of the city to Bethany and camped there. There he was explaining the kingdom of God. Now in the morning, as he returned to the city, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree by the road, he drew near to it and found nothing on it but leaves. He said to it, Let there be no fruit from you forever. Immediately the fig tree withered away. When the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, How did the fig tree immediately wither away? And Yeshua answered them, Most certainly I tell you, if you had faith without doubt, you would not only do what was done to the fig tree, but even if you told this mountain, Be taken up and cast into the sea, it would be done. All things, whatever you ask in prayer while believing, you will receive. When he came into the temple to teach, there came to him the chief priests and the rulers of the people, and said, By what power do you do these things? Who gave you this authority? Yeshua answered them, I also will ask you one question, which if you tell me, I likewise will tell you by what power I do these things. The baptism of John, where was it from? From heaven or from men? And they argued amongst themselves, saying, What shall we say? If we say from heaven, he will ask us, Why then did you not believe him? But if we say from men, we fear the multitude, for all of them believed that John was a prophet. They answered Yeshua and said, We don't know. And he answered them, Well, neither will I tell you by what power I do these things. Later that evening, Yeshua said to his critics, What is your opinion? A man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I do not wish to, but afterwards he was repentant and went. And he came to the second and said the same thing, and he answered, Here I am, sir, but he didn't go. Which of the 2 did the will of the Father? And they said to him, The first. Yeshua said to them, Most certainly I tell you that tax collectors and prostitutes will be entering into the kingdom of heaven before you. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, and you didn't believe him, but the tax collectors and the prostitutes believed him. When you saw it, you did not turn in repentance afterwards, and you did not believe him. To him who has ears to hear, let him hear, in shame and in disgrace. At that time, Yeshua said to his disciples and a company of the Judeans, Hear now another parable, the parable of the sower. There was a certain honorable man who planted a vineyard and walled up on every side, dug a winepress in it, and built a tower in its midst, and entrusted it to vine dressers to cultivate it, and then went to another country. When the season for the fruit came near, he sent his servants to the vine dressers to receive his profit, but the vine dressers took his servants, beat one, killed another, and stoned another. Again he sent other servants more than the first, and they treated him the same way. Finally he sent to them his son, saying, They will honor my son. But the vine dressers, when they saw the son, said amongst themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and his inheritance will be ours. So they took him and threw him out into the vineyard and killed him. Think for yourselves when the master of the vineyard comes. What will he do to them? these vine dressers. They told him he will destroy those miserable men in their wickedness and will lease out the vineyard to other workers who will promptly render to him the portion of his profit. Yeshua said to them, "Did you never read in the Psalms, the stone which the builders rejected was made the head of the corner? This was from Yahweh, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore I tell you that the kingdom of heaven will be taken away from you, and will be given to a nation producing its fruit. He who falls on this stone shall be cast down and broken to pieces." When the chief priests and the Pharisees heard his parables, they perceived that he spoke about them, and they sought to kill him, but they feared the multitudes who believed him to be a prophet. So, there's several parables that are said in these last couple of chapters about a vineyard, and about Yeshua was going to turn his attention to another nation who was doing his will. Just something I want to point out from history is that when explorers first began coming to America, the original name of America was Vinland. It was, I believe it was Eric the Red who came here, who, when he landed, there was grape vineyards, grapevines, and that's where the name comes from these wild grapes that he saw planted there or growing there. And so I find that interesting. I find it almost every time I read one of these vineyard parables, I think of that. And I also think of the fact that the same people that he was rebuking in these parables, these Pharisees, the modern day version of these Pharisees now have complete control of Vinland. Just look at the people in positions of power with their big crooked noses and little tiny hats on top of their heads that are in unelected positions, usually appointed by a president or some other bureaucrat into these positions of power. It's a similar condition as to what Yeshua came into when he was born into Judea, where these Edomite usurpers had made their way into positions of power within Judea and were oppressing the people. And that's really what's going on today. Just look at who owns the Federal Reserve, look at who owns the media companies, look at who owns the movie companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the pornography websites. All of this is owned by the same tribe that Yeshua rebuked. These Edomites that are masquerading as Israelites and calling themselves God's chosen people, when they're just partaking in every satanic method of business that they can find. If there is a sin that these people don't figure out a way to profit off of, it's only because they haven't discovered it yet. And I don't know. I see the parallels. I see the parallels that they're striking to me. And I feel like I've said for years, I feel like something's going to happen. I feel like it's 2030, 2031. I've been saying 2030 and 2031 for over 10 years. While everybody else was saying, oh, it's going to be, next year there's going to be something, or the year after that there's going to be some disaster. And I've been consistently pointing to 2030, 2031. I feel like that's, first of all, it's supposed to be the next Jubilee, if my calculations are correct. But I just feel like something is coming. So that's the end of chapter 22. Thank you for listening. I pray that this has been a blessing, giving you some things to think about, and we'll pick it up at 22 next time. So thanks for listening. Shalom.